between the Hells Angel and a rival gang may have been in retaliation for murder.
Members of the Hells Angels
and police investigating the Hells Angels
and hoping that this will wipe out the entire organization.
Chapter have
the Hells Angels.
How does a nightclub bouncer become Germany's most feared crime lord and the Godfather of Cologne? From running illegal prostitution rings to drug trafficking, extortion, and criminal activities, Necati Arabaci, nicknamed Neco, built an empire feared by criminals and authorities alike. Before we get into the real chaos, how did he escape justice? Even prison couldn't contain him, even deportation couldn't stop him. Drop your thoughts below. Necati Arabaci was born on February 14, 1972, in the city of Cologne, Germany, to Turkish immigrant parents. He was drawn to the world of nightclubs, bouncers, and underground dealings. In the early 90s, Necati started as a doorman but quickly took control of the city's nightlife, organizing a crew of enforcers, many of whom were associated with the famous Hells Angels motorcycle club, meaning Arabaci was aligning himself with the notorious biker gang early on. Through this tight grip on the nightclub doors, he gained power in Cologne's red light district, the city's prostitution, and began making serious money. He became secretly involved in several brothels, including the Babylon brothel near Cologne and another in Leverkusen, and even had a stake in brothels as far away as the Spanish island of Mallorca. This bold move showed his ambition to expand beyond his home turf. By the late 90s, Arabaci built a strong foundation in the criminal underworld. He had money, he had connections to a feared biker gang, and he had a network of loyal men working for him. His early encounters with the Hells Angels paid, and by the end of the 90s, Necati Arabaci transformed from a nightclub tough into the unrivaled boss of Cologne's underworld. He ran his operations with cunning and force. He managed the prostitution rings from behind the scenes, collecting cash from the brothels through front men so that his own hands stayed clean. Arabaci's influence stretched far beyond the city of Cologne. His criminal network extended into other major German regions. He was calling shots in places like Frankfurt and the Ruhr area, not just his home turf. This expansion meant his name commanded respect and fear across Western Germany. He maximized profits from every venture, whether by demanding protection payments from businesses or taking a cut from illicit drug deals in his territory. In essence, he acted as a crime boss, presiding over all of Cologne's vice, a pimp, drug baron, and enforcer rolled into one. Authorities later backed this up, with a slew of charges against him, labeling him the ringleader of a criminal organization and accusing him of extortion, pimping, and even human trafficking. By around 2000, Necati Arabaci was the undisputed king of Cologne's seedy nightlife. Arabaci was deeply involved in crime, with prostitution at the center of his operations. He and his gang used threats and force to control the sex trade, making women work against their will. They ran a network of brothels in Cologne and other places, treating people like products to make money, but prostitution was just one piece of the puzzle. Arabaci was also involved in international drug smuggling. Investigators believe he arranged heroin shipments from South America into Europe and tried to launder the huge profits through foreign banks. However, such power attracted enemies. The criminal world is ruthless, and Arabaci's crew had to defend their territory from rival gangs. Biker wars broke out with clubs like Satura MC fighting for control over key areas. His gang was experienced in street battles and didn't hesitate to use violence to stay on top. At times, he even made temporary alliances with other gangs to protect his empire, always adapting to the changing world of organized crime. For years, German authorities had been watching Arabaci, waiting for the right moment to strike. In 2002, police launched a massive operation and arrested him. A special commando unit, led by Cologne prosecutor Jürgen Botzum, raided Arabaci's operations and finally arrested him. The city's most elusive crime boss was now in custody. Arabaci's arrest led to a high-profile trial that exposed the extent of his crimes. Facing a mountain of evidence, he ultimately confessed to many charges. On September 30th, 2004, the court found him guilty of leading a criminal organization, as well as extortion, pimping, violent assaults, and serious human trafficking. He was sentenced to 9 years in prison, marking the supposed end of his reign. But even behind bars, Necati Arabaci remained dangerous. He was caught trying to hire a hitman to kill the lead prosecutor in his case. Authorities tried to extend his prison time, but legal loopholes allowed him to avoid further sentencing. The threat was taken very seriously as Arabaci's eventual release approached in 2007. The prosecutor fled the country with his wife and went into hiding. Even law enforcement officials feared Arabaci's reach. Meanwhile, police worked to dismantle Arabaci's criminal network. They raided his properties and arrested many associates. Astonishingly, Arabaci was reportedly still giving orders from behind bars. He even continued to control the Colosseum brothel in Augsburg while in prison. After serving about 1/3 of his sentence, Arabaci was released in 2007 and immediately deported to Turkey and banned from ever returning to Germany. Many thought this would end his criminal career, but they were wrong. Instead of disappearing, Arabaci became even more powerful. He quickly established himself in Turkey as the leader of the Hells Angels Nomads chapter. By 2010, he was hosting meetings with international Hells Angels bosses, solidifying his control over organized crime beyond Germany. He had become president of the Hells Angels Nomads chapter in Turkey. He expanded his prostitution and drug networks across Europe, controlling them remotely from Turkey. He was even linked to high-profile criminal operations in Spain, a clear signal that he was now a major player on the global stage. With many of his old rivals in Europe out of the picture, Arabaci's influence only grew. In 2013, after prominent Hells Angels leader Frank Honeybuth was arrested in Spain, speculation grew that Arabaci might take over as the new European leader of the Hells Angels. Arabaci did not shy away from flexing his muscle internationally. Despite being physically absent, he continued to control parts of Germany's underworld. A violent attack on a Hells Angels chapter in Krefeld, Germany was reportedly ordered by Arabaci from exile as part of an internal feud. At the same time, he was said to have allied with the street gang United Tribunes, expanding his influence even further. Authorities across Europe grew increasingly concerned about Arabaci's growing reach. In 2015, Spanish prosecutors investigating Hells Angels operations in Mallorca issued a Europe-wide arrest warrant against him. He was accused of running a criminal network involved in extortion, drug trafficking, and managing brothels. Turkish authorities also kept an eye on him as well. In June 2018, Turkish police arrested Arabaci in Izmir at the request of Interpol. Yet within weeks, he was released due to insufficient evidence to formally charge him. The pattern repeated in July 2020. He was detained again only to be freed. Is it luck or pure strategy? Each time he walked free, strengthened his reputation as nearly untouchable. After being forced to leave Germany, Necati Arabaci went from a local crime boss to an international one. He kept growing his empire and avoiding law enforcement, even while staying outside the country. Removing him from Cologne didn't stop his criminal activities, it only gave him a bigger and safer stage to operate from. Where is Necati Arabaci now? The Godfather of Cologne is still free, living luxuriously between Turkey, Dubai, and Monaco. His empire hasn't vanished, only evolved. After he left, rival gangs clashed for control, sparking new turf wars. What do you think? Was he a criminal mastermind or just ruthless enough to survive? Drop your thoughts below. Surprisingly, Arabaci has gained a cult-like following online. On TikTok and social media, clips of him in expensive suits and exotic cars have racked up millions of views. Some see him as a gangster legend, while others view him as a ruthless criminal who destroyed lives. One thing is certain, Necati Arabaci is still in the game, still wealthy and still untouchable. Thanks for watching. Until the next chapter in the Outlaw Book.